Alright, I'm back. We're just making plans for the weekend. Alright. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. Wait, Giselle Brett. I'm trying to discern if there's a pun in there. Alipray. I'll jailbait? No, it's not jailbait. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical facility. What? What? What is happening here? You've lost control of your courtroom, which I'm not surprised about. I admit that under orders from Police Bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene. And ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. Giselle Brett. I know there's something hidden in there. I know it. I just haven't found it yet. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you're going against the special orders you were given from the Police Bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem? Oh, he's gonna flip me off. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Just casually dying on the stand? They have sometimes. Actually, I think twice they've died on the stand. Might have been once. Oh no, Phantom didn't actually die. Okay, so just one. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency! Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Bum, 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 bum. To be continued. Bitch, we going in on this. I ain't stopping. No one said I was stopping. Save my progress, yeah. You know, that's not actually that far off. Like, I've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours, and the court started at 9. So that's pretty close, actually. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. Actually, okay, hun. So here's the thing. If I go into options real quick. This game in particular had a new part. Reader, story mode. Turn this on to enable story mode in place of autoplay, allowing you to progress through the game automatically without having to press any buttons. The answers to questions, presentation of evidence, etc. are all handled on your behalf. You could just turn this on and just watch it play itself out, and you would do nothing except just watch the story. Which is boring AF, but still. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping out, your knees knocking. And you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in their testimony. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I go through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ah, ha, 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 I am here now. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Jezzael Brett. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was sort of holding a gat. It was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun on the floor, and just after I bent down to pick it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me in some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Old man, hello. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system, even more so. Which is why I firmly believe we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference, lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma? Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Yeah, no, his son's the waiter investigator dude. Like, their hair is the same. If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. Do you still have that gat from earlier? It'll help. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Let's all cross our arms. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck! Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. What about me? Do I get lady nods? I do not get lady nods. That is rude. Court recess is over. Make way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow with this fucking sword before the old fossils know what hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you, really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already be found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. And as a protagonist. And as a mystical genie with hairband abilities. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Of what? Of the meat? Of the rice? Are there veggies? You need to clarify that, sir. It is now noon p.m. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecution Ouchie. Have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency. Against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down on our nation founders? And our nation founders? I want to say that's supposed to be flounders. Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between all nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up! Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. I like that animation. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. There's a bug in the courtroom. I'm watching it intensely. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder, too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth of its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Counsel. The court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Jezaille Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! I can already tell when we break her down, it's gonna be fucking glorious. That was wonderful! Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea? Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at a lay carnival. Yes, we all know about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Dude, put your sword away. Guilty. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. My assumption is because this is supposed to be in Japan. She's right now in the Japanese version. She probably this is English, but they don't understand English. That'd be my guess. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? The lady says her name is Jezaille Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Yume University's medical facility. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. Whatever is it called? I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yeah, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Okay, so they're not gonna like... Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're Japan. We're supposed to be speaking Japanese. She's speaking English. Just fucking roll with it right now. Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnaval, a grim murder took place. During said murder, Rania decided to make me do crunches. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Moonspeak. Phenomena. Doop doo doo doo. She says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. You know, there was a death. But, you know, I got shit to do. So, fucking bye. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? I'm waiting. Alright. Seeing as you were, so unfortunately, present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Blah, blah, blah. Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. She got a tail. She's a goose. Can't trust goose. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. I know she actually can speak Japanese, and she's gonna like come out and start yelling in a minute. And we're gonna get her real personality. Like, I can tell. Stuff like that has happened before. Also, what is that? I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Blah 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 blah. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Blah 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 blah. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Swan on her head.
Yes.
Whoop, I missed that entirely. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this Snow White angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. A testimony of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. The testimony of the last 2 witnesses. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there's nowhere about her person where she could have concealed a firearm. No, there are plenty of places. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere. Thank you! Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun, I picked it up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that is what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull her testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Yeah, no, you saw she smirked at that, so she understands everything being told, and she can speak perfect Japanese. She's just refusing to, because she's playing it smart. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day.
Yes.
After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late luncheon, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late lunches are en vogue. Isn't that right? Didn't he just chew us out for, like, late luncheons earlier? Fucking pain. God damn it. No. Oh, she said no that time. No. Ah! A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. It was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yeah, which we can prove with a medical report that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic! What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is! So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Oh, let me go back. We need to press all of these because there's usually something funny in them. No, go back. Oh, well, let me go back. Dang it. Saying that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm just exactly the same way you are, except for flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only yeah, we're just gonna ignore that statement and tell you about my ribbons. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even with your thick skin, you must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. In fact, I can't see a single inconsistency in your testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. Okay. Let's try that again. Professor was unable to eat, so I ordered myself a beefsteak. He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hota Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to check with the witnesses before answering? Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard from the professor she heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here, is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left? Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, dear lady. I swear it will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has profound bearing on the case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you've just said to be added to the official testimony. Gladly, she says. That was brilliant. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there was some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Okay, hold on. Let me check. Yeah, there's only one glass, though. Is there only one glass in this one? There's only one glass in that one. We're gonna press the other statements first, but I'm pretty sure that's what they want us to do. Because I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did was I noticed him. Was go over and say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all supiku English. Oh, that was painful. I wonder if the prosecution would feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I find something will unravel her testimony, no matter what seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. She's smirking again. Then not long after, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him before my eyes. Can I not go backwards? I can, okay. Alright. Let's see what significance this has.
Yes.
I wore that face! That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Thank you so much. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is, it's odd, very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense of inability to express itself. Ugh. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. That cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed with this nitpicking over minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minutia, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not! I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me you can clink with only 1 glass? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. She's glaring at him so hard. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. Yeah, she can't speak Japanese. She only overheard the entirety of that conversation. Yep. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There. As I assured the court before, there is no consequence at all. Oh, please. You must remember that this student has just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in a straight... Oh! Oh, I see where this is going! Oh, I see where this is going! So where'd you conceal it, bitch? Where is it? Because, you know, if you conceal glass, you could conceal a gun. That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? The worst of all crimes. Mischief. When they say be gay and do crimes, they just mean mischief. I see how it is. What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing what my brain is thinking. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning. How dare you bring logic into my fucking court? But in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yeah, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait! The lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. I've already explained it to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshots were heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Jezzael Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Eh? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. For no reason did I have just another photograph. Thank you. I put it there for a reason. This print is of a photograph. Oh. Oh. I see that was part of the steak plate, which means that it came out hot. But wait, but she was the one eating it. So then why did she then put his hand on the steak platter? Why was his hand on the hot steak platter? Yeah, fuck the purse. Okay. I know it'll become clear later. Alright. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. Okay, she took the glass, dumped the gun, which is what Ryunosuke found. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Oop. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Court record. Can I get more out of that? No, okay, I can't get anything more out of it. Okay. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed. And there's only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation. Oh, Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What, you mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat. Oh, that's going to trigger something, isn't it? You're wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, after considering all the evidence placed before me, I hereby fine you... Wait, Your Excellency! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial is over, he gives his ruling. This is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentleman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted to the detective has not undergone the court scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezings. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. This is no wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I'm unsatisfied, you's getting beatings and spankings. Do you think this thing's just for show? Bitch, I've broken skulls with this mallet. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we can see a significant detail to which has been alluded.
Yes.
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection.
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. Hi, Kai. Yes, it does. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Professor Ouchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency? It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. It's about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure, but if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hopes that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I cannot allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn to the victim's wrist in the case, then would you allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn, but as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. Time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates the inexorable connection between the victim's burn and the trial. Is it showing this one? It does not show in that one. So it shows in that one. There we go.
Yes.
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things may have been overlooked at the time are things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim have this unusual shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in the photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yes.
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you all right? As you can see, this looks delicious in color. There's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been any day before. Or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say... Oh, no, wrong one. I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not particularly a large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're the detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it, something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day, or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us, without question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of that makes sense at this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson had no burn, was asleep, was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Oh, bitch ready to fight. Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. That's why she took the fucking glass! Oh, bitch! The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of facts. No, Prosecutor Ouchi. It's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon. I need a fuck ton more water, excuse me. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, I am oddly sexy right now. The court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we... Oh, what? Thank you for letting me know my friends list is unavailable. I'm still streaming. Okay, good. Thank you, Steam. I don't know, that just made me really paranoid. I just got the same thing. Okay, so then Steam's friend network just went down for some reason. It's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett. that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency! The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. This judge is, like, kind of badass. I like this judge. Thank you, Your Excellency. Are you gonna fucking speak now? I know you can. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Aw, bitch can speak Japanese. Fuck, of course you can. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Miss Brett? You speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Oh, she's getting dunked on so hard. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well... You're the epitome of true English gentlewoman. We're truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. Note to self in future, beyond 3 hours of doing this is going to be quite painful, but we're going to push through to the end of this trial. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Bring it, you bitch! Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Oh, God, I want to slap her already. She's great. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history, thank you. Easy does it. I hope that is the last time I ever have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. Yeah, no, fucking Simps. That's accurate. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? What was that prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Oh! Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination.